Good morning. I'm Patrick Bowens, a realtor for Exit Realty Group here in Fredericksburg, Virginia. We're going to continue our series on the basics of home financing. Today we're going to talk about the VA loan. I'm a veteran. I proudly served in the United States Army. My guest, Tanner Mulvihill, is also a veteran who proudly served in the United States Marine Corps. Good morning, Tanner.
Patrick, thanks for having me today.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself and about your business, please.
Okay. I've been a loan officer for 15 years. I specialize in VA loans, and I opened my own company in 2006.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Very nice. So let's get right to it. VA loans. Who's eligible for the VA loans?
Basically, anyone who served in the armed forces for over 90 days on active duty, and then certain reservists as well. Also, in situations where a family member who is an active duty member died, then the surviving spouse would be eligible for a VA loan as well.
Okay. And that spouse, she cannot remarry before she gets that loan, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Okay. So we want to make sure that we have the website up for any additional questions that anyone has. So we'll have the website up printed here. Okay, so as far as a VA loan, how often can a VA loan be used?
Well, a VA loan can be used repeatedly, and in some instances you can certainly have more than one at a time. It'd be interesting to know who had the most VA loans ever, but it's not unrealistic to think you could have 10 over your lifetime.
Oh, wow. I guess it just depends on if you successfully do what they ask you to do and pay the loan and stuff on time.
That's correct. So when you sell your house that had the VA loan, then you could use the VA on the next property as well. And so if you get frequently moved, then that's how you would really start building up having VA loans over and over.
Okay. So there are times when you can have two at one time, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and what's the criteria
That's called second tier entitlement, and the requirement is that depending on the area that you are at, there is a max loan limit across the United States. So in our area right now, we are 679,650 as of 2018. In the past, it was much higher, so it was a lot more common to have the second tier entitlement, but I still see it on a consistent basis here as well.
Okay, great. I had a VA loan way back, 30 years ago, 1998. And I ended up refinancing like 4 years later, 4 or 5 years. The market was booming, going crazy. So the best loans during that time were the conventional loans. And now, is that still the truth now? The best rates are in the conventional loans, or where do you have, is it competitive?
Surprisingly not. VA loans are pretty lenient on the credit requirements as compared to a conventional product, but they perform better than conventional loan products when you're talking about foreclosures or short sales or things like that. Veterans pay their bills. So lenders are more likely to give a better rate on a VA loan than they will a conventional loan for that reason.
Okay, great. And plus, with a VA loan, you can get 100% finance on
Correct.
That. Talk about
Correct.
that. So that's, when I got my VA loan, the person asked how much I was going to pay, and I said, I'm not paying anything. And she's like, what? I said, I don't have to. It's a veteran's loan.
Right.
So that was a great thing to have there.
Well, that brings up a good point, too. A lot of times if people are not familiar with the VA loan product, they don't know the ins and outs of it, that can be a problem for the veteran. And I've run into that in many circumstances where someone has talked to somebody else originally, gotten some information that was incorrect, and then I was able to point them in the right direction.
Great. Fantastic. Let's talk about the VA funding. What exactly is that, the VA funding part of that loan?
Well, the VA funding fee basically protects the VA. It acts as an insurance policy. So roughly about half the clients that I pre-qualify now are exempt from the funding fee. That means they receive VA disability pay. And those that do not, then they pay a funding fee. It's a tiered system depending on whether you've used your VA before or whether you're using it again. And then also if you're putting any money down, it drops.
Okay. So let's clear, this is the last question for this segment here. Let's clear up one thing. Not all vets are eligible for a VA loan. They don't automatically get it. You have to have certain criteria, credit scores and rating. Can you tell us about what is expected from most lenders?
Right. So you are eligible for a VA loan as a veteran with honorable service, et cetera, but that doesn't mean that they're going to give you one. So you have to have employment history, you have to be bringing in income, and you have to have a credit score generally above 620. Some lenders will go lower than that, but you have to have extenuating circumstances like a lot of money in the bank or a lot in your savings and stuff like that. So it is possible, but it is a little more uncommon.
Okay, okay. Great. So this concludes the segment on the basics of real estate, this first segment, basic real estate financing on the VA loans. Thank you very much for tuning in, and please tune in next time for the second segment of this.
Good to be with you this morning.
So let's talk about the first time home buyers here in Virginia.